Thank you so much for taking time out of your Thursday afternoon to join us. We're happy to have you for our second webinar, our Roomvo University webinar of 2025. As always, like to kick it off with some housekeeping, some new Roomvo updates that you guys might all be aware of already. You might have received some emails from myself and some Roomvo reps this week, but I wanted to focus on Roomvo Pro, which is our newest product that we just launched. It is a comprehensive app for your RSAs that allows them to better track and manage leads and route leads, better manage and track samples, checking them out for a customer who might not have made a purchase in the showroom but wants to bring a sample home with them, tracking their returns, sending automated email reminders, tracking activity, deal value, all of that good stuff. And so I wanted to show you all what this looks like. It is Roomvo Pro. It's our CRM. And I'm going to share my screen so that you can all take a good look at what the new CRM looks like. So one thing I want to start with is the CRM is browser-based, but you can also download our native app. Whether you use an Apple device or an Android device, you can access the app through the respective app stores. And there is no cost to you as a retailer to be able to leverage Roomvo Pro and our CRM. If you're a partner of Roomvo's already, you have access to use this today. If you do have any questions following this demo, feel free to reach out to me. As always, we can schedule some one-on-one training to make sure that you leverage the tool and all of its capabilities. So to start, you're looking at the homepage here. Within Roomvo Pro, there's a host of things that you can do. You can access the visualizer. You can access product information, product specs. You can track and manage your leads as well as your samples. So I want to start on the leads page here. I'll click on the lead screen and you'll see it's going to give me a profile leads of all of those that I have assigned to me within my business. Jim, I happen to make a fake lead under your name. I hope that's okay. I'm not going to spam you with too many emails, but you'll see here that within the lead profile, there's a host of things that we can do. For example, you can create notes. I think it's perfect timing to have started the webinar talking about skydiving. I made a note about Jim being an avid skydiver. You can use the notes section to include notes that are specific to building the relationship with your customer, or you can use the notes for incorporating information about measures or products that they like, maybe what their budget is. And those are easy things that you have the ability to track. You can do so by clicking the add button in the bottom section and clicking the add note button. You can type in whatever you want. You can add an attachment as well. Maybe you have pictures of their space or dimensions of their measure, whatever it might be. You can attach that here as well. You can also create tasks for yourself. So you can create a task to maybe follow up with your lead. Maybe I want to call Jim later this week. I can assign this task to myself, and then I can choose when I want to do that. So maybe I don't want to do it until next Thursday at 5 or 6 p.m. I'll select OK, and I will save that task, and you'll see that it shows up as a task for me. And I'll get an email reminder reminding me to follow up with Jim on this specific date. The last piece is the sample checkouts, and I know that this is something that we discussed last year, but this is also folded into the CRM. If I come over to my sample screen, I can actually add samples to my cart to then be able to easily check them out with my customers. We'll give this a second to load here, but you'll see that the entire product catalog that you have available to your customers will load for you to be able to then check those samples out, send automated email reminders to those customers, and ensure that those samples actually get back to your showroom. Looks like this has taken a second to load, so I might just pivot back to the lead screen here and show you one more thing. Additionally, you can add a deal value. So maybe if we think that this deal is going to cost around $5,000, we can add that deal value. Every time we take a task, create a task, or make an update to the account, it all shows up in the activity screen here. So now you have one place that you can manage all of your leads. You can check out your samples. You can move your leads through the funnel from being a new lead all the way to winning that customer's business. And you have the ability to track the full life cycle of your customers in Roomvo Pro, your new CRM. So, like I said, brand new product, entirely free for all retailers that use Roomvo today. If you're not already leveraging it, please reach out to me. I'm happy to set up a demo and walk you through the product. We hope that this is something that you will find useful and valuable in your showrooms for trainings for your RSAs.
Beautiful.
Pretty good, right? And it's free. So you can't really beat that.
Yeah,
No, pretty
exactly.
awesome.
If you're not doing Roomvo, I've been saying this since I met Roomvo, the awesome people, Reed and her team. If you're not using Roomvo Visualizer, I don't know what your problem is. You gotta,
Love that.
they're just a great
Appreciate that.
team. It's free. Just do it. Just don't think about it. Just do it.
Appreciate that. So with that, let's get into it. Jim, my amazing co-host, as you guys know, he's an internationally known trainer and coach for flooring dealers. And of course, he is the founder and president of Flooring Success Systems, a marketing services and coaching program for dealers. Since 2007, thousands of retailers across the US and Canada have relied on Jim's methods to get more customers, get higher margins, gain an unfair advantage over box stores, and live the lifestyles that they always deserved. He's also an avid skydiver, as we were chatting about leaning into the start of the webinar. So, Jim, pleasure to have you as always. You're the best co-host and excited to kick things off.
Oh, thank you, Reed. It's always so much fun to co-host with you. You're just awesome co-host. And I got to see you guys in not the last heist, but the one before. So that was a lot of fun. And because you're in the great white north of Canada, this is kind of how we hang out. So this is
I
good.
know.
And
This is good.
yes, super excited to have Adam on here too. And I know you're going to introduce him in a minute, but I have had several conversations with Adam, and from the first one, I knew we needed to get him on this webinar.
Yeah, we're incredibly excited to have Adam join us as well. So, Adam Singer is the founder of Ability Growth Partners, dedicated to helping businesses and business owners get control of their operations and build companies that they're proud of. Since 2010, Adam has worked with clients across dozens of industries worldwide, blending his expertise in sales, marketing, and technology. His approach is simple but powerful. It's to help good people grow their businesses by delivering better value and becoming better known. Adam leads a skilled team focused on creating sustainable long-term growth and has been in the industry for quite some time. So we're incredibly happy to have Adam join us today. We've heard lots of amazing things, and we're excited to be able to share your knowledge with our amazing audience here today. So welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Dang, that was great. I'm excited to hear from me. That was really
Yes.
good. Thank you. I gotta
Absolutely.
say, I've been working in the home improvement and flooring space for a bit over a dozen years, a decade. I don't know what it is anymore, but I don't remember when I discovered Roomvo for some of my clients, but I thought it was just the coolest thing, and I couldn't believe it was free. So, when Jim reached out to me and said, you want to do this talk, and it's sponsored by Roomvo University, I was like, that it was super cool, and I'm excited for it. So thank you. Special thank you to Jim. Special thank you to Reed. Special thank you to Roomvo for having me on here. I guess should we
Real
start with
quick.
this?
Well, real
Oh,
quick, Hank,
yeah, please.
where are you joining us from, and what time is it there?
So I am in a little city that is halfway between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. I live in Israel. I am a tour. I'm not a tour guide, but my hobby is as a tour guide. I spent today in Ramla, which was the capital of this area when it was Syrian Palestine at the time for about 300 to 400 years. So I got to see some amazing things there. And I could talk about that a whole lot longer, but I won't go too far into that rabbit hole. But that's where I am. I'm in Beit Shemesh, to be specific. Okay. From chaos to clarity, organizing your flooring business with AI tools you already have. So yeah, look, I don't know how everybody else is using this now. I'm going to try and close this so you can see as much of my screen as possible. Yeah, I don't know how everyone else is using AI right now. It has entirely transformed the way I do everything. And that's really almost no exaggeration. I don't think there's anything I do, certainly in my business, that isn't currently touched by AI. I think where I was a strong Google user for decades, I think I probably used Google about 20% as much as I used to about 3 months ago. And I think I use ChatGPT like all the time. There are a lot of other platforms too. We'll touch on those, but there's so much potential and so much to do with this. And as business owners, we all experience that level of chaos. I find that these tools have an incredible promise for so many different levels. I want to focus on this particular operations piece today, but there is just so much to talk about, and I'm very excited to talk about it with you. This is me, Adam Singer. You can reach me at adamandabilitygrowth.com. I am going to talk. I'm going to talk about AI, but there's so much to talk about. There's just no way I could possibly do it in 40 minutes, 40 hours, I think perhaps. So I am offering a course specifically on AI for flooring store owners, for flooring professionals. It's called Easy AI for Flooring Professionals. You can find it at ai.abilitygrowth.com. I will offer a discount code for people who came to the seminar today. So please stay tuned for that. Working in marketing and tech for flooring since 2010, speaker at TIES in 2024 and 2025. Okay, that's me. That's on about the southwest corner of the walls of the old city of Jerusalem. Okay, next. This is a webinar about what AI is. So I know that I expect that everyone has had some touch with AI at this point. I don't know how much, but I want to frame it for you in a sense of how I think is most helpful people in the flooring industry, business owners, to understand, or managers to understand what it is in terms of your business. And then that goes on to how to use it to take control of your work, how you can use it to take control of your business, like work being what you do on your daily basis, business being what you manage in the larger picture of what you're working with, and then specific tools and how to use them. We'll talk about some other stuff along the way too, but that's kind of the framework we're working with. What AI is, how to use it to take control of your work, how to use it to take control of your business, and specific tools and how to use them. I don't see anybody right now, but I'm assuming I can see Jim and Reed are there. Everybody else is there, but I can't see them. Is that how it goes?
That's how it goes.
Okay, so you guys have to like smile and like move like more than usual, so I know that there's engagement over here. Okay. Uh, what does chaos look like, right? I think we all need to know. We all know what this looks like. It feels like you're drowning. There's so much going on. I walk into the office and I feel like I'm a fireman. I feel like everything I'm doing is putting out fires. A fire here, a fire there. Why are these people standing over here and they haven't followed up with these leads? What's going on on the dock? What's come in? What's going out? Has that been sitting there for 2 weeks? This person just called today and they don't know where this shipment was. Things happening all the time, all at once, everything everywhere, all at once. That's what chaos looks like. So the idea is, how do we move? What is AI and how can it help? Okay, so AI is in the most specific sense to help you understand how it solves this chaos problem. AI in its most specific form is a superhuman organizer. What AI can do is take very chaotic information like the entire internet and organize it in a way that you could understand it. So if you compare that to Google, for example, Google is an amazing experience. Google search, Google also has an AI component. We'll talk about that too. But as the difference between Google and AI, where Google will answer a question you ask it with a lot of other options for how you can find the answer yourself, AI will actually answer your question. If I say, how do I solve this problem? Google will give me a list of websites that talk about my problem and hopefully the best ones to address my problem. AI will actually give me a solution to that problem. It will take from all the information on the internet and synthesize that to give me an answer. So at its very core, AI is a superhuman organizer. It's also an analyst. If I put into AI any information that I have about my business, it will organize it, analyze it, and give me information about it the way I ask it. So if I take all the customers I've touched in the last 20 years, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, and I say, and I feed it into AI as much information as I can about it, and I say, hey, which of these customers have I talked to in the last year? It'll give me a list. If I can hand that information to it, if I can hand it a jumble of chaotic information, it will analyze it and answer questions for me about it. What products are selling the best? What products are likely to sell the best in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years? Obviously, no one has a crystal ball, but it can work with data in a way that's unbelievable. It's an expert presenter. So this has been an update that's happened in the last, I would say, 4 weeks, that that ChatGPT specifically, but also Gemini on the Google side, have gotten really good at producing pictures and graphs as well. So if you ask it questions, but whatever the context is, it will take all that chaotic information, not just organize it, not just analyze it, but also present it in a way that's very readable and very understandable to human beings. So let's go from there. Okay, where do you find AI? I imagine most people have heard of most of these. If you haven't, fine, whatever. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Meta AI, Copilot, Perplexity, Claude. I expect that everyone's heard of at least one of these, and most people who aren't quite as geeky as I am probably have not heard of all of them. But if you have, great, it doesn't really matter. The point is to understand that these are places you can find on the internet. If you Google ChatGPT, if you Google Gemini, you Google Grok, Meta AI, Copilot, there's places that are all fighting for you to get involved and see their system. So you can connect with AI directly by going to any of these places, or you'll find that because of the power of these tools, they become integrated in virtually every piece of software that you can imagine as well. Roomvo has its own AI experience that you can leverage. Google has Gemini and its own AI built in. We'll talk about Notebook LM in Google as well. It's more specifically in this. Gmail has Gemini built into it. If you're on the appropriate access from your administrator. Facebook has its own AI built into it. That's Meta AI. Microsoft has Copilot. ClickUp and Monday both have AI built into them if you're using those for project management. So you can find AI both by going to the source, so to speak, the providers of these models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, etc. But you can also see it more and more in the applications and the software that you've been using perhaps for a very long time. And this course, this small talk will, I hope, help you learn to use it both in the native platforms and in these software platforms as well. So let's talk about that. Okay, how do we interact with AI? How do we consider it? So the first model of how you interact with which we're probably most familiar with, if you go to ChatGPT, if you go to Grok, if you go to Meta.ai, you have a window that looks a lot like a Google window, and you can type stuff into it. Now, what's different about typing into it as opposed to what we're all used to with Google is that, unlike typing to Google, where you're kind of pretending to be a robot, if I want to know where I should what my kids will like for dinner in my neighborhood, I might say pizza, Rockville, Maryland, and it'll say the best pizza places in Rockville, Maryland. Pizza near me. That's the way that we talk to Google, but it's not the way people really talk. So in AI, you have these things called text-based assistants, or they're also called chatbots. The idea that you text it the same way you would text a friend. And the way I think of these is sort of like if you had a professor in college or a teacher in high school that really just got you, and they could really guide you through complicated material. They know a ton. They can organize. They can explain to you complicated subjects. That's your text-based assistant. That's the idea. You can ask someone a question, and it'll give you a great answer. That's your text-based assistant aspect of AI. The next piece is problem solvers, right? Einstein represents the great idea of great geniuses in the world. AI can take whatever problem you give it, and in my experience, present what is an astoundingly applicable solution, an astoundingly intelligent solution. So beyond just asking questions like you would to a teacher or somebody who is really knowledgeable in a field, you can present AI with problems, and it'll help you get a strategy to solve them, or even tell you how to solve them, or in some cases actually solve it for you itself. So that's the problem solving aspect of of these AI tools. And the next piece is that you could actually get AI not just to do work for you, but to behave and act as if it was a worker for you. In other words, if you remember the story of the elves and the shoemaker, right? The kindly old shoemaker who is a sweet and hardworking person, but just never seems to have enough time, energy to get the work done that needs to get done. And one night in exasperation, he just can't do any more work. He leaves the leather out. He leaves all the pieces out, and he goes to sleep. And he wakes up the next morning, and unbelievably, he has all these shoes ready for him and ready to deliver to all his customers because these elves have come in the middle of the night and they've built all the shoes for him, right? So AI can kind of not just kind of can really play that role as well. It can be that extra set of hands, that extra set of tool that you need. Is that a word? Extra tool, whatever. So you know what I mean. So it can be that extra assistant that can actually do things for you so that you have more time, or that the stuff that you were doing takes less time, so that you and the people on your team have more time to spend on the things that AI can't do for you. So it can actually create an AI worker for you. And we'll talk about all those things today. Okay. So something else that's really important to talk about, if you've tried AI, and there's stories before about, yeah, I tried AI and it told me to put glue on my pizza, or it has all these weird, outlandish things it's telling me to do, and I don't have a sense of trust for it. This is a great example of how technology works. So I don't know, I can speak for myself, that I remember when Kodak was photography. If you wanted to take pictures, you used Kodak film. You might have a Kodak camera too. There are lots of other cameras, but Kodak was the film company. And it shouldn't be surprising that as the film company in 1975, Kodak was the laboratory that invented digital photography. Now, in today's age, there are people who still use film. I'm not saying there aren't, but the number who use them is minuscule compared to how everybody used it for so long. So what happened? Why did Kodak as a film company disappear? Why didn't they become the leaders in digital photography? And the answer, this picture answers this for me. So if you look at in 1975, when the first digital camera pictures came out, let me see if I can do this. Can you all see this if I do this?
Yep.
Read. Yeah, okay, fine. So when the first digital pictures came out, they looked terrible, and it was black and white, and it was grainy, and the perception was no one's ever going to want to use digital photographs because the pictures on film are so crisp and so great. Why would you ever want to use a digital camera? What they didn't understand at the time, or they didn't understand it and weren't able um, to live with enough, was the idea that this technology, the technology that behind what makes digital cameras works, changes at an incredibly rapid pace, making these technologies improve. In digital photography, it's about every 18 months. So if you look between 1975 and 1977, it's a better picture. It's still a little bit grainy. 79 is better, 83 is better, 85 is better still. By the time you get to 1999, it's as good as a photograph. It took 20 years because technology was moving a bit slower then, but the idea was that things double at a very fast rate in technology. So the curve in digital photography was, it tended to increase, it tended to double the quality in 18 months. Every 18 months, the photograph would get twice as good. AI's growth curve is every 6 months. So in other words, you can expect that however good your experience was 6 months ago with AI, it'll be twice that good now. However good your experience is with AI now, it'll be twice that good in 12 months. What does it mean to be twice that good? It means to be a better problem solver, a better articulator, a better organizer, to better understand you and your needs, and be able to meet those more effectively. So understand this stuff is changing very, very fast and getting better and better, like at a incredible rate. Okay, So how do you use this to start getting control of your business, right? Remember, so how do you take control of your work? How do you take control of your business? So first of all, you remember this experience of drowning, this experience of chaos. How do you get out of that? So first of all, if you had your teacher present, someone uh, who wasn't just your geography teacher or your math teacher, but someone who actually knows everything about your business and knows everything about business in general, and you could ask a question and say, you know what, every day I come into the office and I see that the work that I was expecting to get done didn't get done. My employees are working hard as heck, but it still seems like stuff's falling through the cracks. And every time I walk in the office, there's another fire for me to put out. If you had that teacher, if you had that role model, you had that mentor to ask that question to, you can imagine how that might help steer you in the right direction if the person really had the real knowledge and information to move you forward. So having that teacher is one piece of it. Then having the problem solver. Hey, we have this problem. Okay, we installed this. We installed this flooring, and it wasn't the right. It wasn't the right. Excuse me. I'm not a flooring person. I'm a marketing AI person, but it wasn't the right flooring for this surface, and it's buckling. It's not sitting right. What do I do? How can I fix this? Can I fix this? And if you had someone, Einstein's not necessarily the best example, but if you had someone with an Einstein level of understanding of flooring that could answer these questions for you in a way that just goes beyond what you might otherwise have, that would also help as well. And finally, if you could have somebody to help you do this work, if you had these magical elves, so to speak, to get stuff done, to get the busy work done, to get the stuff done that has to happen every day over and over again, that you and your team don't have to do anymore, that would also help you feel a lot more in control of the business and help you have a lot more free time. Okay, so how do we get started in a more practical sense? So here's the deal. If you have the best team of magical elves in the world, they still can't help with what they can't see. In other words, if those magic elves that help the shoemaker didn't have the leather to use to build the shoes, they can't build shoes with it. So you have to be able to give the information to AI so that it can make sense of it, so it can do work with it. So how do you do that, right? So you probably experienced some of these things already. Texting it, as we talked about before, talking to it, which we'll show in just a minute, which is amazing to me. Uploading stuff, we'll talk about that as well, how you upload information to these AI things and have it analyze it and organize it and express it to you. And connecting stuff. So you can connect your, whether it's your CRM or whether it's your accounting software or whether it's your ERP software. I would venture to say that virtually all of these platforms are racing to find out how they can connect AI to enable you to connect your existing systems to the power of what AI has to offer. So we'll talk next about how to text, talk, upload stuff, and connect stuff to AI and what that looks like. So I don't know if you guys have used this before, but I have found it to be kind of amazing. So I want to use this. There we go. Okay. So I am hoping that, you know what, let's do it this way instead, actually. I'm going to so now you're not seeing my screen at all, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now you're seeing me, and now I'm introducing you to my friend ChatGPT over here. So I'm going to talk to ChatGPT. I'm going to take, and hopefully you'll be able to hear him as well. ChatGPT, I'm giving a presentation right now to a group of flooring store professionals. Can you usually introduce yourself, please, and tell them what you can do?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm ChatGPT, your AI assistant. I'm here to help you, as flooring store professionals, streamline your business operations, enhance customer experiences, and boost efficiency using AI tools. Whether it's automating routine tasks, analyzing customer data for better decision making, or even assisting with marketing strategies, I can help you save time and grow your business. Let's make your workday a lot easier and more productive.
ChatGPT, can you give me an example of how you can help make a chaotic flooring store owner's life simpler, based on when they walk into the room in the morning or whatever, just give me some practical idea of what you can do for them to help make life feel less chaotic.
Of course. Imagine you walk into your store in the morning and there's a flood of tasks waiting. Inventory updates, customer inquiries, new leads to follow up on, and marketing emails to send. I can help by automating those repetitive tasks, organizing your schedule, and even drafting those marketing emails for you. I can also analyze sales data to give you insights on best-selling products or suggest optimal staffing levels. This way you can focus on what you do best, serving customers and growing your business while I handle the background details. It's like having a personal assistant who never sleeps.
Okay, let's leave that alone for now. But so you can hear that, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good, fine. So what I want to show with that, not just the list of capabilities of what these AI tools can do, but really how easy it is to work with them. I know that everybody, I'm sure we all type and text at different speeds, but its ability to really understand my words when I speak to it verbally, truthfully in multiple languages, I've experienced as well. And respond intelligently is pretty amazing. So even if you're not like a typing person or a keyboard person, or if your boss isn't a keyboard person, or if usually your boss, which I've had in clients before, your boss is the kind of person who has you check the email for him. Usually it's a him that's that way, but in my experience, however it might be, that's exactly how easy it is to interact with ChatGPT. And I imagine the other platforms have similar features, but ChatGPT has been my go-to and is I think the industry leader in terms of market share. Okay, so you can talk to it. So prompting. So what I did right there was what's called prompting. And the first steps in understanding how to really make good use of AI is this field of understanding called prompting. Prompting is what you ask ChatGPT to do or what you ask AI to do in a language that lets it most effectively help you. So if you imagine like, if I had Einstein walk into my office right now, I think I would be like, oh, nice to meet you, sir. I don't know what to ask you or what to say. I have this level of intelligence and level of ability that's so beyond my day-to-day life. I don't know where to begin. So prompting is the way you go from my problem to AI's ability to solve it. So how does that look? So this is an example of it. This is an actual example that I use with one of my clients, and it has what I'm going to call three working pieces. There is context, there is information, and there is the problem. So in this case, the context was, I am working with Bill and Steve. They help Ken price out materials so that he can create a quote for clients for home improvement projects, right? Just like if I was talking to a teacher or a friend, I just explained the context, right? I'm working with Bill and Steve. Bill and Steve, what do? They help do research and understand a quote that they can use, they can give to Ken so he can quote out a job for a client. Okay, here's an example of a quote. This is an actual example, right? That Ken prepared for somebody. Flooring includes insulation, carpet, master closet only, LVP tile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what the quote looks like. Now, here's my problem. So often Ken will ask Bill or Steve for information and it's impossible to find because it's either lost in numerous email or it's shared on chat on their phones. I don't know if that happens to, if that's a common problem. I expect it's somewhat common. That it certainly happens to me once in a while, but I know the information's in my email box someplace. I just don't know where. And I know that something that was talked about in a chat someplace. I just can't figure out exactly where that was. So I asked ChatGPT that question and say, hey, can you solve this for us? And it gave us, to me, what was quite an astounding solution. Also, we had to say that, that, oh, by the way, Ken doesn't like to use, really only likes to use chat, doesn't want to use any other software, so can already keep it on a text message basis, and it gave us a whole solution for this. So as I mentioned before, there is certainly not enough time in tonight to talk about all the things in AI that we want to talk about. So this QR code will take you again to that AI for flooring professionals class. That's going to start. You can sign up for it now, but June 9th is June 12th, I think, is actually when the first material starts to drop. But then we'll talk about prompting in that class. Okay. So that's your example of context. There's your information, and there's the actual question. So that's how you can help. That's how you can give ChatGPT or give AI the information that it needs to truly help you and help you feel more control. And that's the QR code you can use to get to the course. Okay, so what's your homework? How do you get started next with that? So this is great. It's great for your relationships. You can complain to ChatGPT and it will never complain back to you. It'll never say stop. Listen, you want to hear about you. I don't want to hear about your problems. I got my problems. ChatGPT will never do that to you. So you can go to AI and you can say to it, hey, I run a home improvement store in Rockville, Maryland, and we keep running into issues with installers. We really benefit from having one or even two more installers or on staff. It's been really hard to find them. Can you suggest one or two installers I could hire near Rockville, Maryland? That's a prompt that gives context, information. I'm in Rockville, Maryland, and I run a home improvement store. That's my context, and I need help finding installers. And that's place one. Or I run a home improvement store in Savannah, Georgia. That's my context. That's my information. I keep hearing that I should be on Instagram. Is this really important? I don't think I have the manpower for this. And you can expect to get information that says both, is it worthwhile to be on Instagram? Is it worthwhile use of your time? And how the AI can help you with that as well. Or just simply say, I run a home improvement store. How can you help me? And see where it takes you. That is my homework assignment to everybody. If you are interested in getting started, if you haven't gone this route yet, but asking those questions specifically in that way. You can go to the App Store, download ChatGPT. I expect there's probably a bunch of things trying to masquerade of some sort. They're just, the App Store seems to be like that sometimes. But so you want to get ChatGPT to look sort of like this. And if you want to use the talk version, you can, which I had before, it's in that app. You just press the microphone and it'll let you do that. And I find, honestly, as I commute from one place to another, I often have ChatGPT on there and talk to it about whatever's in my mind, whatever work is going on. I talked about this conference. What should I talk about? What would be interesting to them? What kind of topics do you suggest? And that's how I often come through. Okay, another example. So when I talk to flooring store people, that I often hear from them that the biggest thing that makes salespeople more successful is product knowledge. What do they need? Product knowledge. Better product knowledge, more product knowledge. How do I get more product knowledge? There's no shortcut. Okay, so I am blown away by the abilities of AI to enable you to share product knowledge with your team. I took an example. I think that the particular AI that I'm thinking of is called Notebook LM. As far as I know, it's a free service, but I believe that it's also a part of the Google suite. So if you use Gmail or if you use Google for your email, but it's called Notebook LM. You can get to it by going notebooklm.google.com. And this is kind of sort of what it looks like. This is the example. Okay, so I looked for the most boring piece of information I could find. If you are a Mohawk distributor, Mohawk is an amazing company. I'm not dissing on Mohawk, but if you really find satisfaction out of reading the Mohawk finishing products catalog, man, my hat goes off to you. Because when I go through this, you have your ordering information. This is the kind of stuff you expect to see in the catalog. Now, I don't know if anybody needs actually know all this stuff. I'm not putting this in front of you to say, hey, if you had to master the Mohawk catalog, here's how you do it. What I'm saying is that you can take stuff that's incredibly boring and create something that looks more like this. I'm going to share with you first, if I may. Let's see if this works. So this is actually what Notebook LM looks like. And this is my Mohawk products finishing catalog. So this is what the actual catalog looks like if I go up to here. There's the actual catalog. And what I did is I took this link to the catalog. I went to Notebook LM. I said, hey, I want you to analyze this source, and I added in the website for this catalog, and it digests the information, gave me a summary. I can ask it to add a note. I can ask it to do an audio overview or a mind map, but this is the piece that I find truly amazing. Am I able to share sound, Reed? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you are hearing is the world's first and probably only and probably last podcast based on the product catalog of the Mohawk finishing products. So all I did literally was upload the catalog to Notebook LM, and this is what it produced. We're not going through 25 minutes. Let's go for 30 seconds of it.
It's the latest catalog from Mohawk finishing products.
That's right. And it's pretty comprehensive. We've got everything from, the practical stuff like returns and shipping,
Right.
all the way through to a huge range of actual products. Lacquers, touch-up markers, fillers, sanding gear, solvents, waxes, even some hardware.
Okay, so the goal here for you listening is to pull out the key bits, the really useful stuff you need to know without getting bogged down in like every single detail.
Exactly. We want to make it practical, maybe even a bit interesting.
Okay, I'm not going to go further with this. What I want to share with you, those are not human beings. Those are two AI-generated voices that have taken all the information in this, I don't remember how big this catalog was. Let's see. In this 105-page catalog and turn it into a 25-minute conversation that's, I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't necessarily want to listen to a 25-minute podcast about a finishing products catalog. But if that is your business, it's an incredibly digestible and easy way to understand what this catalog has to offer. So if it can do that with the finishing products for a 50-page, 100-page catalog, whatever that thing is, right? I imagine we can do with anything else in your inventory. Anything else you want it to understand, all the LVP, all the LVP types, styles, colors, all the different cabinet styles, whatever information is on the internet, it can digest it for you and create it a conversational podcast you can listen to while you're on your commute. You can listen to it while you're unpacking boxes. You can listen to it however you do it. But the level of information that is in my perspective truly astounding. So
I see several ways you could make this work beyond just digesting and feeding it back. One, yes, for your own education, but two, you could do little 3-minute podcasts or 5-minute podcasts on some kind of home improvement tip. You could you could take your entire training and break it down into 5 to 10-minute modules for say a new salesperson or a new admin or a new warehouse person, and their training is all in this podcast format in 5 to 10-minute modules, and you got 10 modules, and so they just go through it, and now you didn't have to spend that hour telling them. They can listen to it. There's the uses for what Adam just showed you guys are endless. You could do social media posts. You could do, oh God, it's endless.
Yeah, and I will share also, as we talked at the beginning of the program. So I am in Israel, and my hobby is Israeli history or history of the region. And what I have done is I've done so many tours, and I have recorded all those tours. I upload the recordings of those tours to to Notebook LM. It analyzes them and creates a podcast, and then I upload that to Spotify. And so within about 5 minutes, I have 15 to 20-minute episodes of a podcast that I produce perhaps three days a week, 3 episodes a week at the minimum. So they're actually it's pretty astounding. I will mention also, yeah, go ahead.
With that particular tool, are you able to give it a sample of your voice so it does it in your voice?
That is a great question. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I don't know the answer. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But there are definitely, I will say this, if you can't do it with this tool, you could, I'm almost certain, take the voices that are there, put it into a different tool, and use that tool to make it into your voice. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, and if the audio piece wasn't enough for you, you can also, whatever information you put in here, I don't know the exact limit of how many pieces of information you put in here, but I think it's like hundreds or thousands. It's quite large. So you can ask questions like you were talking to somebody who had memorized the catalog. So if you go, so now that I've uploaded the catalog, I can go in here and I can say, okay, well, um, what is best for LVP? I don't know. I'm gonna make this up and sound stupid. What is, can I return things that are already open? I'm just made that up. I don't know. But it will actually, so I can ask the question as if I was talking to somebody who memorized the catalog. It will go through, organize information, and then explain to you. Yep, all returns for inspection. Here's the information. It'll actually, I can actually go to the exact space in the catalog that answers the question. But it's giving me a summary that's a few paragraphs long, as opposed to having to page through and look through the catalog. So pretty amazing tool. Okay. So we are going to go. So just summary so far. All right. So we've talked about what AI is. It is the it's like having the great teacher that can explain things to you, that has a great level of mastery. It's like having a great problem solver. It's like having a worker. We haven't talked about the worker yet. We're going to get that in just a second. Okay. Also, how to use it to take control of your work, how to use it to take control of your business, right? The information that you give it is the information that it will take, organize it, solve problems, or present solutions to you to enable you to do that once you give it text, talk, upload stuff, and connect stuff to it. Specific tools and how to use them. We talked about ChatGPT. We talked about Notebook LM. Those two things, I think, alone have a huge amount of potential to them. Now I want to talk about automation. So automation is often confused with AI. It doesn't really matter to have the classification. But in terms of what you want to do, you're still seeing my screen, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can
fine.
see your screen. I also just want
So,
to be mindful of time with 7 minutes
Yep.
left and some questions from the audience.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's zoom through automation, and then we'll in 1 minute. So think of AI like this. If I know this is my family, this is our structure, AI can plan my perfect ideal vacation for me. Automation means I say to the AI, excuse me, I say to an automation tool, hey, when I'm out of town, I'm out of the office, send an email to anybody who emails me that says, Adam's out of the office, he'll be back in 2 weeks. That's automation as opposed to AI. How's AI post automation work in practice in 6 seconds or less? So you can use AI to snap a picture of a packing slip that comes when a delivery is received. The AI will interpret the information on the screen and then update the client that says, hey, your order's here. This is what arrived. Excuse me, the automation will take that and alert your customer. The AI will also alert your sales rep, and then it will add that information to a database and then send reminders in case the customer forgot to pick something up, in case the sales rep forgot to follow up. And then AI will be on top of that so you can continue to ask it questions and say, hey, did the order for Mrs. Johnson come in? And it'll give you all information. Okay, fine. Let's get through that. Fine. This is the code for the for $50 off the course is Roomvo 50. First 25 people to register get $50 off. It will be go at your own pace, but I will be involved in it as well. So we'll have person to person stuff as well. Okay. Yes, please, questions.
Amazing. Okay, so Elise's question was, so the Notebook LM created this podcast, or was it just on the web? We know that podcast was actually created from the Mohawk PDF that you had fed it. So anybody like Elise or those of the audience would be able to do the same.
Yep. Yeah. So if I understand the question correctly, was something else, Reed?
Nope, that was Elise's question.
Thank you for your question, first, Elise. Yes, what happens is you go into Notebook LM, you click to create a new, I can't remember what they're called anymore, but something. You click to create your new, your new whatever. You create your new, right? And then you add sources here. So you can add Google Docs, Google Slides, websites, YouTube, copy text, whatever it is. You can drag and drop it. Once you have it, Notebook LM will process it. It'll give you the summary. You can ask it questions, and you click here, and it'll create the podcast. That's the whole thing. Did it answer the question, Reed?
Yep, that answered the question.
Okay, cool.
Tim was asking, is there a way to take a voice recording and make that into a podcast?
Yeah, sure. I mean, is the question, can you record your own voice and make it into a podcast? Or is the question, can I record my voice, put it into Notebook LM, have Notebook LM expound on the topic, and then make that into the podcast? Either way, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that was one of Tim's questions. And then we've got the last question of the group is, can we ask it to do this for Mohawk Laminate if we put in a website link? And it seems like, yes, it can digest website links and digest the information there. So yeah, realistically, for any manufacturer product information or warranty specs, whatever it might be, you can feed it to Notebook LM and it will spit out a summary and searchable content for you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would, because I was testing this a bit with some of the Mohawk stuff specifically, and the limitation is in how the website is set up. Like the Mohawk sites that I was coming into that weren't like a PDF catalog. I don't. You would know better than I would in terms of whether this is catching all the information that's there, because it's not always set. The website itself is not always set up to be as informative as you want it to be to digest it and create a digest. Hopefully I'm being, let me try it one more time. Yes, you can put any website in there. However, I found that you have to know the right website that has the level of information that you want to create the thing you want. Is that helpful? Is that clear?
Yeah. And then last question before we wrap things up. Can you create a post for Instagram or Facebook using a PDF and these tools?
Yeah, I would say that. So yes, ChatGPT would be more my go-to for that. I think if you go directly to ChatGPT and say, hey, make me a picture I can use on Instagram that shows, and you fill in the blank from that, it would do that for you. You can obviously use the two things together as well. You can start with something in Notebook LM and say, give me a summary or suggest something from this document I could use as an Instagram post, and then, move that over to ChatGPT to create the actual image, because I don't think Notebook LM has an image generator.
Yeah, that's probably best. Gemini is also great for that too. So
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, well, that wraps up all of the questions that we had. And so just as a quick summary, for next steps, if there's anybody that wants to participate in Adam's session, the first 25 people to register using the Roomvo 50 code will get a $50 discount. You can scan the QR code to sign up for his Easy AI Essentials for Flooring Pros session. As always, we appreciate you all being here. For those of you who have any additional questions on the Roomvo CRM, which I presented at the beginning of the webinar, feel free to reach out. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining us from so far and so late, Adam. We appreciate your time. Jim, thank you, and looking forward to the next Roomvo University webinar.
Thank you so much, Reed and Jim. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone.
Be well.